Hello, and welcome to the tutorial on how to register a student at an OFL charter school. The registration page can be found at registration.isistrack.com. This is the registration login page. During pre-registration, the student may have provided preliminary information prior to his or her visit to the center, where he or she will complete the full registration process. If pre-registration has not been completed prior to visiting the center, the parent and/or student will be provided a workstation to complete the pre-registration information on site. When pre-registration information has been completed, a representative at the center will log into the registration site and have the ability to perform a lookup of the student. To log in, enter your username and password to complete full registration for the student. The first page that will display is the Create Security Pin page. The system requires a security pin of your choosing to access the student list and to enable you to toggle between student, teacher, and parent pages during the registration process. Enter the pin you have chosen and click the Save Pin button. Now enter the pin again and click the Validate Pin button. Once you've clicked on the Validate Pin button, the pre-registered student's lookup page will display. You have the ability to perform a lookup of all of the students at your center that have pre-registered or a specific student that you are ready to register. If you would like the system to display all of the students that pre-registered for your center, simply select the center for which you would like to see pre-registered students and click the Search button. As you can see, the entire list of pre-registered students will display. In this demonstration, I will select a center and a specific student that will move through the registration process. First, select the site for which the student is pre-registered. Next, enter the student's first name. Next, enter the student's last name. And then click the Search button. Once you've clicked on Search, the relevant student that you searched will appear in the list. Now click on the row where the relevant student information is displayed. Once you've clicked on the selected student, the Master Agreement page displays, populated with the student's information. It also defaults to the student role, as you can see in the upper right-hand corner of the screen. On this page, you have the ability to utilize the pin that you created to toggle between student, teacher, and parent roles by clicking on the Admin button at the bottom of the page. When you click on the Admin button, you have the ability to toggle between these roles by entering the pin you created and then selecting the role to which you would like to toggle. I will enter my pin and then select Switch to Parent. In this scenario, I will hand over a device or a computer to the parent in order to complete the registration information. Notice the role has changed to the parent role. Also notice that most of the information was completed during pre-registration. This makes the registration process move more quickly. The first page is the Master Agreement. However, most of the information that is populated here comes from information that was entered on other forms. Before signing the Master Agreement, it is important to confirm the information on those forms. To review and complete all of the registration forms, you can click the Next button to scroll through each form. Or click the Forms button to select a specific form. If you have a computer or a device that has a touchscreen, you can swipe to access the Forms section. As a parent, I will scroll through each form by clicking Next. The first form is the Student Information form. As you can see, most of the fields were populated from the information entered during pre-registration. Confirm the student information, such as the student's name, birth date, the birth state, the birth country, the gender, and the ethnicity. Now confirm the race. The next section is the contact info. So here you will confirm the residential address, the mailing address, the phone number, and the county of residence. Now you will confirm the education information, such as when the student first enrolled in a U.S. school, when the student first enrolled in a California school, which language the student spoke first, which language the student speaks most often, what type of nighttime residency the student has, whether the student has taken the California English Language Development Test, yes or no, whether the student has ever enrolled in special education, yes or no, whether the student has an active IEP or individualized education plan, yes or no, whether the student has ever had a Section 504 plan, yes or no, or whether the student currently has an active 504 plan now, yes or no. Then confirm other additional information such as the reason why the student is enrolling. Then indicate if any of the following information is true by checking any of the relevant boxes. Once all of the information on this form is completed and or confirmed, save the form by clicking the Save Form button. And then click the Next button to move to the next form. The next form is the Previous School Information form. Confirm all of the student's previous school information, such as the last school district attended, the last school attended, the current resident school district, the current resident school. Confirm or select whether the student has previously attended one of our centers, yes or no. Now confirm or select whether the student has taken the California High School Exit Exam, or CASE, for math, yes or no. If yes, confirm the school district and the school where it was taken. Now confirm or select whether the student has taken the California High School Exit Exam, or CASE, for English, yes or no. If yes, confirm the school district and the school where it was taken. Once all of the information on this form is completed and or confirmed, save the form by clicking on the Save Form button, and then click the Next button to move to the next form. Next is the Primary Parent/Guardian form, where you will confirm the primary parent or guardian's name, his or her relationship to the student, his or her phone numbers, his or her address information, and his or her email address. Now confirm any alternate parent or guardian information, such as the alternate parent or guardian's name, his or her address information, his or her phone numbers, his or her email address, and his or her relationship to the student. Now confirm the emergency contact information. Confirm the emergency contact's name, confirm the address, confirm the phone numbers, confirm the email address, and confirm the relationship to the student. Now confirm the parent or guardian's education level. Next, confirm the household income survey information, such as how many people live in the home, what the household annual income is, stipulate the income above $74,164, and then confirm other additional information, such as how you heard about the program. Then whether you have received the health care coverage information forms, yes or no. Once all of the information on this form is completed and/or confirmed, electronically sign the document and click the Save button. Now that the form has been signed and saved, click the Next button to move to the next form. The next form is the caregiver affidavit. This form must be completed if the adult enrolling the minor is not the student's parent or legal guardian. If this is the case, complete the caregiver info. Provide the caregiver's first and last name. Provide the caregiver's address information. Provide the caregiver's phone numbers. Then verify the information related to the qualified relative information. Then review the notices. If this is relevant, then provide a signature. If none of this is applicable, click the Next button to move to the next form. Next is the I Have a Dream sheet. Once again, if this was completed during pre-registration, much of this form will have been completed and can be completed by the parent or the student. Under the Who Am I section, complete and/or confirm each bit of requested information. List and/or confirm any hobbies or interests the student may have. Explain why the student came to OFL. List the student's favorite subject. Under the My Goals and Dreams section, select Complete and/or confirm the additional requested information. Select or enter the goal the student may want to achieve at the school. Select or enter the student's plan after high school. Describe the student's career goal or dream for the future. Save the form by clicking the Save Form button and then click the Next button to move to the next form. Next, review the Parent Permission for Student Participation in Program Evaluation form. Program evaluations may include questions about the student's family, work, school experiences, and attitudes, as well as basic skills testing. Once all of the information has been reviewed, electronically sign the document by clicking the Sign Here button. Notice the system saved your previous signature. Now click the Next button to move to the next form. Now review the medical authorization form. This gives the charter school personal permission to use their judgment in obtaining medical service for the child. Once all of the information has been reviewed, electronically sign the document by clicking the Sign Here button. Then click the Next button to move to the next form. Next, review the Parent Consent for Transportation form. This form provides permission to participate in charter school programs needing transportation for the current school year. Once all the information has been reviewed, electronically sign the document by clicking the Sign Here button. Then click the Next button to move to the next form. Next, review the parent permission for student participation in optional instruction dealing with human reproduction. The charter school must have on file the signed consent of a parent or guardian in order for students to receive instruction dealing with human reproduction. Select I agree or select I do not agree. Once all of the information has been reviewed and the selection has been made, electronically sign the document by clicking the Sign Here button. Then click the Next button to move to the next form. Next, review the affidavit for non-attendance. This makes the parent aware that it is against the law to have a student enrolled in a charter school while simultaneously being enrolled in a public school or private school that charges tuition. Once all the information has been reviewed, electronically sign the document by clicking the Sign Here button. Then click the Next button to move to the next form. Next, review the Internet Access and Consent form. This form stipulates all of the computer network/internet acceptable use regulations and acts as an Internet access consent and waiver. Once all of the information has been reviewed, electronically sign the document by clicking the Sign Here button. Then click the Next button to move to the next form. Next is the Code of Conduct consent form for Edmodo. Edmodo is a free and secure learning network for teachers, students, and schools. It provides a safe way for us to connect, share content, access homework, participate in discussions, and receive class information. The Code of Conduct for usage is listed. Once all the information has been reviewed, electronically sign the document by clicking the Sign Here button. Then click the Next button to move to the next form. Next is the Photographic and Video Consent and Release Agreement. This serves as notice to students and parents/guardians that the charter school and its affiliates use photography and video recording at its functions. Once all the information has been reviewed, electronically sign the document by clicking the Sign Here button. Then click the Next button to move to the next form. Next is the Physical Education Activities Consent form. This grants permission or does not grant permission for the student to participate in physical education activities at the charter school. Select I agree or select I do not agree. Once all of the information has been reviewed and the selection has been made, electronically sign the document by clicking the Sign Here button. Then click the Next button to move to the next form. Now complete the emergency card for the student. Complete and/or confirm student information such as the student's name and date of birth, the phone numbers, student's address information, and any court-mandated custody/visitation orders limiting access to the student, yes or no. Next, complete and/or confirm the primary and alternate guardian information, which may have populated from the parent/guardian form, once again confirming the name, the relationship to the student, the phone numbers, the address information, and the email information for both the primary and alternate guardian. Now complete and/or confirm the emergency information such as the name, the relationship to the student, the phone numbers, the address information, and the email address. Now complete the Authorized Contact section. List as many authorized contacts as necessary in this section. Now select whether you authorize the release of the student named above to the authorized contact in the event of illness, injury, evacuation, or emergency that may occur while the students are in school? Yes or no? Now select whether in the event of an emergency the charter school may release the child to walk home independently. Yes or no? Now complete the medical health information section. Select whether the student requires medication at school or at home, yes or no. If yes, list all the medications the student requires during school hours. Please check the appropriate boxes if the student has any of the following medical conditions. Also describe any medical condition that might require care or accommodation at the school. Read the emergency medical authorization information and list the hospital you prefer for emergency medical treatment. Once all the information has been completed, reviewed, and the selections have been made, electronically sign by clicking the Sign Here button. Now you've completed all of the forms. Now the teacher will click on the Admin button. Here the teacher will enter the PIN and select Switch to Student in order to toggle to the student role, since some of the registration forms require the student's signature. In order to go directly to the forms that require the student's signature, click on the Forms button or swipe to the right if you have a touchscreen to access the forms list. The first form is the student information form. Click on the form in order for it to display. The student will confirm that all of the information has been completed, reviewed, and the selections have been made. Then the student will electronically sign the document and click the Save button. Note, if any changes were made to the form, do not forget to click on the Save Form button before signing. Now, click on Forms and select the second form, which is the Internet Access and Consent form. The student will review all of the information and then the student will electronically sign the document by clicking the Sign Here button. Now click on Forms and select the third form, which is the Code of Conduct Consent form for Edmodo. The student will review all of the information and then the student will electronically sign the document by clicking the Sign Here button. Now click on Forms and select the last form, which is the Photographic and Video Consent and Release Agreement. The student will review all of the information and then the student will electronically sign the document by clicking the Sign Here button. Now that the parent and the student have completed, reviewed, and signed all the relevant forms, it's time for the teacher to review and discuss the master agreement. The teacher will click the Admin button and then enter the PIN and select Switch to Teacher in order to toggle to the teacher role. Now that the teacher has access to the registration forms, he or she will click the Forms button to select the master agreement. As a teacher, only I have the ability to select the scheduled student appointment reporting times and days, which no other role has the ability to perform. For a student and a parent, reporting information is static and is not selectable or changeable. As a teacher, I will discuss the appointment schedule with the parent and/or student and make the selections as agreed upon. I will select 2:30 p.m. Monday and Thursday. Also, as a teacher, only I have the ability to search for a course or use the drop-down to select a course. For a student and a parent, the courses are static and not selectable or changeable. As the teacher, I will discuss the course schedule with the parents and/or students and make those selections as agreed upon. I will select all of the courses that were chosen. Once the appointments are set and all the courses have been selected, the teacher will save the form by clicking on the Save Form button. The teacher will now click the Admin button. Here, he or she will enter the PIN and select Switch to Parent in order to toggle back to the parent role. Now, the parent will review the master agreement. Then, the parent will electronically sign the document by clicking the Sign Here button. The teacher will then click the Admin button again. And he or she will enter their PIN and select Switch to Student in order to toggle to the student role. Now, the student will review the master agreement. And the student will electronically sign the document by clicking the Sign Here button. Now, the teacher will click the Admin button again, where he or she will enter the PIN and select Switch to Teacher in order to toggle to the teacher role. Now the teacher will review the master agreement. And the teacher will electronically sign the document and click the Save button. As you can see, all parties have signed the master agreement. This completes the registration process. This concludes the tutorial on how to register a student at an OFL charter school.